Talking food today with Tanya Unkovich. Now, we're not talking about our favourite recipes or anything like that, although we could at some point, Tanya.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about how sometimes people use food as a way to mask pain.
Yes.
And, use foods in an unhealthy way, I guess you could say.
To cope with life, to run from pain, to mask what's going on, to not feel.
I mean, this is more common than a lot of people would think, right?
It's really common. That's why the diet industry is worth something like $70 billion a year, because people keep trying new diets and they don't work long term, really. But why would you need to go on a new diet time and time and time again? You're still using food for comfort. You're still using food as a way of coping with life, which is why the weight goes up and down. So it's about addressing the problem.
So do people, would you say that perhaps some of the people you meet even know that food is this problem for them? Or do they think, oh, this is my underlying problem, I feel a little bit depressed, but they don't realise what they're doing with food?
Often that's the case. How many times have we all done it? Before we know it, we've got a cream bun in our nose and we don't even realise we've started eating it. Sometimes you're just not mindful at all when you're eating. So that is often the case, yes.
But then some people would know that this was an issue for them. Perhaps it really is a big problem and they're gorging and doing that kind of thing.
Yes. And the thing is, once you get to that realization, it's about being honest with yourself and going, okay, I'm prepared to admit I'm doing this. Now, what am I going to do about it? It's about getting honest. And shame is one thing that stops people from reaching out and getting help in this area, because they think, I can't even manage what I'm eating. Even a 4-year-old can manage what they're eating. How come I can't even do that? I just want to say to you, this is so common. So let go of the shame. Get honest and make a commitment to yourself to get well and find other ways of dealing with life instead of using food. Food can be like an addiction then. It's a food addiction in a sense? Well, yes, it is. I tend not to call it an addiction personally. I just tend to personally describe it as you use food to cope with life. You use food to soothe yourself, because I don't like using labels personally. That's just me though, right? Yeah. But it is a way that it is a coping mechanism. It is a coping mechanism. And there's no doubt about it that certain substances do have an addictive effect, don't they? I mean, look at what too much sugar does to your brain. Look at what too much of this does to your brain, right? So there is that effect. I'm just not specialist in that area to be able to describe that. But once you start on one food, you just can't stop sometimes. Now, once someone has the courage to say, look, I realise I'm doing this and I want to change, where would they begin with that change? At what point, do they say, okay, well, I'm going to do this, but from there on in, what do they do? Well, I always say make sure that you are healthy. If you need to go and see your GP, then definitely do that and make sure that you are healthy. But also get some other help if you need to. There are many groups around that you can get help where there are other people who have the same problem. You can go and get some counselling. I would recommend that if there are people who don't need to lose weight, but they still use food in excess by a long, long way. So it may mean that you need to be open and willing to look at what's going on inside. Have a look at why you're using food. Have a look at what you're masking. Have a look at what you're running from, and be prepared to do a bit of work. So once you've sort of realised this about yourself, is it sort of being quite mindful of the fact that, okay, actually, I'm feeling stressed right now. My first instinct is to grab something to eat. Is it a matter of just saying, okay, I'm not going to do that. I feel this stress, but I'm going to do something else. There are quite a number of strategies you can use, and one of them is to make the decision that you're going to eat when you're hungry. And if you're not hungry, then you're going to do something else and feel what is going on. Okay, what is the trigger? Why is it that I want to eat when I'm not actually hungry? I always say use HALT, H-A-L-T. Ask yourself the question, am I hungry? Am I angry? Maybe I'm lonely right now, or am I tired? All right, so it may be something else. So let that be one of your strategies, saying I'm only going to eat because I am physically hungry. It's not emotional hunger. And then have a few other really cool strategies that you can do. So, for example, one thing you can do is make the commitment that you're not going to multitask and eat. Make the commitment that you're going to just sit and eat at the table and not use your iPhone, not have the TV going, but actually focus on the food that you're eating. Put it on a plate. Don't stand at the refrigerator, but sit and eat and enjoy your food and taste it. There's another. Do you mind if I keep talking?
Oh, please keep going. Yeah.
Right. Now, the other thing you can do is start eating what you enjoy. Stop restricting yourself and eating foods that you think you should be eating. If you want to eat something that you always have loved, but you've put it on a restrictive list, then start enjoying it. Everything in moderation is fine. So stop labeling food. Stop having foods labeled as good or bad, because you're going to want to go towards that bad stuff all the time if you've labeled it as bad. So start experimenting and introducing food in your life that once upon a time you called as restricted.
So it's not a matter of overeating that thing. It's just not excluding it from your diet, because if you do, then when things get bad, you're going to tend to want to go back to that.
Absolutely. And look, if you, for example, if you say, I can't eat chocolate, I'm never going to eat chocolate again. Well, the minute chocolate's put past you, you're going to go, oh, just one. And then once you've had one, then you go, I can't stop, because you've got this belief in your head that you can't stop. Well, I'm going to say knock that belief out. Of course you can stop, all right? But that's why I say don't exclude anything. I make sure that people who come to work with me have freedom, and they learn to have food freedom.
Yeah, and that's quite a healthy way of looking at food, really, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be your enemy. You want food to be your friend. You want to make peace with your plate.
Now, do you find that sometimes this can be a cyclical thing, in that, you're doing really, really well, and then, to use this term, you fall off the wagon?
Yep.
Yeah. So what happens then?
Well, acknowledge why you've fallen off the wagon, work out why you did it, and go, okay, I see why I did that. I was feeling a bit stressed, so I noticed I was picking up too much food. However, make the decision to get back on the plan again, whatever your plan is. Just get back on the horse again, as they say. And you don't need to wait until tomorrow. So don't think, oh, I've just ruined today, I may as well keep binging all day. You can stop at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock if you want, and enjoy the rest of your day and have a normal meal at night. Also, don't think, well, I've fallen off the wagon on Friday, I may as well just go for it all weekend and start on Monday. I'm going to say have a nice clean Saturday and Sunday as well, because get out of the habit that something lasts for longer than a day. You can change anything in a day. So just get back on the plan straight away.
Yeah, and to be kind to yourself, I guess, too, because this happens sometimes.
Totally. We're human. Stop beating yourself up. One Tim Tam is not going to kill you. The entire packet might have a bit of effect, but, just enjoy. If you have had a bit of a slip, then so what? Forgive yourself. Get on it again. Work out that you've done it. Be playful with it and go, oh, okay. So what? Won't do that again.
And move forward. Now, Tanya, this is something that, you do see a lot of people presenting. If people do want to come and talk to you about this, you're someone that helps people out with this kind of thing.
Sure do.
What's the best way of getting in touch with you?
What you can do is you can Google me, or just find me on Facebook as well, because I have a Facebook group specifically for people with this problem. But just Google me, Tanya Runkovich. Go to my website, tanyarankovich.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Tanya.
You're welcome.